Hi there, welcome to my channel. My name is Penzrah, a self-taught fashion designer based in Calabar, Nigeria. So I saw this illustration somewhere on Instagram. I can't remember, it's been a while, and someone who was with me at the time said she would love to know or learn how to make the pattern. So I thought, why not? So I would do this for her and do this for a million others who will watch this on my YouTube channel. So I'm going to start off by making the bodice block, the bodice, and then I would alter the bodice into the desired pattern. I have a video tutorial on how to make an accurate bodice block. I would leave the link down in the description box. Go watch it so you can understand what I'm doing here. Also, I have numerous tutorials on how to alter the bodice to suit a desired style of choice. Watch those as well. So if you noticed, I drafted my bodice on fold, which means I'm making the full front, not just a quarter. That's because, I just want them to have a full front, but I'm going to be working on just a quarter of the bodice. So first and foremost, as you can see, I closed the side dart, and using my paper tape, I'm going to keep the side dart closed. As you can notice, as a result of closing the side dart, the bust is already beginning to pouch. You can see a curve going on in there as if we are making room for the bust. So I can easily work with this pattern. Like I said, I am going to be working with a quarter of the bodice, which is actually half of the front, So I'll keep the other side aside, and then I'll work with this side. It's more convenient to work with a quarter of the bodice, guys, than to work with the front, especially when the style you're doing is bilateral. That is, what you have on the left side of the garment is the same thing as what you have on the right side of the garment. So there, I'm going to begin making my cup. But first of all, when I drafted this pattern, I had already included 1 inch sewing allowance. So that's what I just marked there, the 1 inch sewing allowance. After which, from the 1 inch sewing allowance mark, I marked 1.5 inch. So that's the 1.5 inch marking there. So this is to make our cup. Next, I'm going to measure the bust radius. The bust radius is the distance from the nipple down to the under bust. And there I had 3 inches. So I'm going to be marking 3 inches all around, as you can see, making sure my tape 0 still lies at the apex of the bust or the bust point, making it our focal point to make this. Now the bust radius would guide you to know the areas of the bodice at which the bust covers, or the area of the bodice that occupies the bust. So what I'm doing here is also going to guide me to make my cup. So using freehand, I'm connecting the points which we had marked earlier on. You can use your curve for this, a French curve for this, but I'm doing it freehand. And then you see I've connected it till we get to the under bust line. Remember the 1.5 inch mark we did there? Now I'm going to connect it to the under bust in a curve. Right now, looking at it, you can see the under bust line, and that's the curve there. So this would be the curve for the cup. Now you can see that my bust radius is within this cup. This gets to show that the cup I have made is large enough to cover the bust. See the distance between the two there? You see the space there? It just gets to show that my cup is going to cover the entire bust. If it were anything less than this, then maybe some part of the bust will be, struggling to remain within the cup or sticking out, which would be uncomfortable when sewn and worn. So looking back at the illustration which we are making this out of, I'm just going to zoom in to be sure that I'm on track. Okay, I'm going to put it somewhere on the screen so you can see clearly. Now also observe the kind of style line on the cup there, and you can see there's something like a band just before the style line. So next I'm going to do is I'm going to make the neckline, and you can see that it's curved. It's a curved neckline that ends at the shoulder. So I'm going to make a curve. Using my tape, I'm going to go to the edge of the neck now, and I'm going to be marking in 2 inches inwards right there at the shoulder line. So I'm going to be making my curve coming from the cup up to the 2 inches mark at the shoulders. So using my curved ruler, I have also adjusted the armhole of the pattern. So what I'm shading out there would be trashed, and that's what the new armhole will look like. Zooming into the illustration, you can see that that is what it is. Exactly the same. I observed that I've made a mistake with the neckline there. The curve is supposed to be coming from center front, not coming from the cup. It's supposed to be coming from center front, going upward in a curve towards the shoulder. So here I am doing the correction now, right? So when you're closely analyzing the styles, you have to look closely at everything you're doing, except you're not making a complete copy. But here I'm trying to draft a pattern that is a complete copy. So the curve I've just made now is the correct curve. That's center front now, so I'll connect from center front down to the under bust line to complete the cup. To make the band on the cup just before the style line, I'm going to be marking 2 inches, as you can see, placing my tape exactly the way I have done from the center front. I have marked 2 inches. Looking one more time at the illustration, I think I'm on track. So I'm going to go over to the armhole, marking down about 6 inches at the armhole, 6 inches from the shoulder downwards on the armhole. Now using my curved ruler, I'm going to connect the 2 points. So there I'm leveling out the pattern pieces. That's center front and this is the side seam. So I'm making the boning channel because I noticed on the pattern we're making the copy from, that they had a boning channel drawn. So that line you see there would be another style line of which we would create a boning channel with. So now I'm going to be cutting out the pattern, so it's easy for me to do my dart manipulation and make the style line as we see in the illustration. So I'm going to connect from the bust point or nipple upwards to the tip of the cup there, which is our style line. So I'm going to take out 1 inch to tighten the chest and to help us have the cupping a little more, if there's any word like that. So that's 1 inch right there, and you can see how I made the curve, bringing it back to the apex of the bust. So now I'm going to be taking out the dart excess. That's a part of the waist dart which is off right now, and the 1 inch we just marked, which will separate the cup into 2 pieces. So there, I'm just making arrows to guide me so I'm not confused about the right way to place these pattern pieces. And then you can see that I have kept the pattern together, apex touching apex, that is nipple to nipple. Also notice that with the apex, which I'm marking out right now, touching each other, you can see that the style line does not completely meet. The bigger pattern piece seems to be taller or higher than the other pattern piece, and it means that if we work with this pattern this way, when we close it up, there will be about a 1 inch gap, you know. So I'm going to place paper underneath this pattern piece, stick with my paper tape, and then we're going to adjust this pattern to suit the same, to reach the same height like the other pattern piece, so the style line is complete. You can see that now the pattern pieces meet, right? Keeping the apex together, and they also meet at the bottom. Okay, so now I'm going to cut. Trying it out one more time, you can see that everything looks okay. So we're almost done here, guys. This is how the patterns will be placed. So there it is. When these patterns are joined correctly, they would come out to look exactly like the intended style we are looking to make. It's looking pieced like this, you might not really get. So since I'm not ready to sew this pattern yet, I'm going to be using my paper tape to pretend as if this has all been stitched together so that you can see what the shape looks like. Okay, look how much this cups. You can tell that this can cover the bust comfortably. This is her perfect cup size. And then you can tell that this would fit in smoothly into this. And it's that easy. Very easy. So it was this, and now it is this, in less than 5 minutes. If you've watched this video up to this point, thank you and God bless you. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, like. Thank you also for subscribing, and if you're not yet subscribed, please do so.